And as a venture capitalist, I mean, I have a bunch of people that watch this show and in my academy that are always looking, at early stage companies and, like you said, what's going to be next here in the blockchain space. How do you look at that? I know you've always said you're trying to look 5 or 10 years ahead, which in crypto time is like 100 years ahead, I guess.
Right.
But how would you explain what goes on in your brain when it comes to investing in the blockchain space, and what kind of advice do you give to people?
Boy, inside my brain, you probably don't want to go there.
What's it like in
No,
there?
well, the way I look at it is I say, what is better for the consumer? And when I meet a new entrepreneur, I think, what if this works? What if they are successful with what their vision is? How big can it get? And sometimes I think, this could get bigger than even the entrepreneur believes. And that, and that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm saying 5 to 10 years from now, if this is successful, how great would that be? And Bitcoin, if this is successful, which it looks like it is, how great will that be? And it will be great because it'll give our humanity an anthropological leap forward, because borders will mean less and less. Nationalism will become more like a competitive governance where they're competing for us, and they're accountable to whoever they work for, as they should be, rather than sort of telling us all what to do and having us all just walk along like automatons. So I'm always looking for that big change, and Bitcoin seems to be bringing that change. The internet was a big breakthrough because we could communicate across borders for free. That was a big breakthrough, and that allowed all these countries to realize that their borders were not that important. All of a sudden, they realized with Bitcoin that they have to pull those borders back up because they're worried about their own central control over currency, because all of a sudden Bitcoin is the currency for the world, and they're going, wait a second, this is the way we've been controlling our people, is through our currency. And if you've got this currency for the world, what are you thinking? And so then they put up borders and barriers and trade wars and all that stuff, and it makes no sense for the long haul. But for the aggrandizement of certain politicians, it seemed to work for them. And so Putin and Xi Xi shut down all Bitcoin, and he had 40% of the mining capacity in China, and he shut it down. I mean, the guy clearly doesn't have much economic sense, but he was so paranoid and wanted to control his people so much that he just disassembled an industry. And now he's disassembling their supply chain. I mean, the guy is, brilliant politically, but boy, he is not too smart economically.
Right, so it goes back to freedom and trust. That's how you're really going to get the most prosperity. You see China with a version, Putin with a version, and now America with a version too. They all have something to aspire to in your mind. Like, it needs to be more free, and there's to be more trust.
And we were built on freedom. I mean, we were built on America was built on freedom. China, when they became free for that 40-year period, they went from being, I don't know, economically, they're number 2 now, and they were maybe number 8 before. And the quality of life there has gone way up. All these things that happened they went way up. And then she came in and decided that he wanted to control everybody and didn't trust anybody and took away all their freedoms. And he's wondering why entrepreneurship has stopped dead in its tracks there.
Right.
In the US, we've got the same, we got to fight about it. It's an ongoing battle. But what's weird is each political party takes on, some things that are more freedom and some things that are more central control. And there doesn't seem to be a political party that's working for trust and freedom. And that's the one that needs to flourish, because our two political parties are getting so far apart. They're just doing, if you say something kind of outrageous and you're a politician, you get notoriety. And so they do a lot of that. And then once somebody in your party says something outrageous, you gotta support it. It makes no sense. Anyway, we've got to do something about our duopoly in the political spectrum in the U.S. But just hopefully we'll get a great charismatic leader who's a real believer in crypto, and they start and freedom and trust, and they trust the people. It's amazing when I'm in the business of handing money out for stock, and that's a big trust thing going both ways. It's big trust, and it's a great business. And we set them free. We say, we don't do milestones based, funding. We just say, here, go for it, and so we're not hovering over them like a helicopter mom. We're just sort of handing out the money and saying, go be free, go do what you had planned to do. And most of them, the vast majority, go do everything they can to be successful, but also to live up to that trust. Trust is a big deal. Yeah. And if I were running a big company, I would do the same. I would say, look, I don't know all the little intricacies of all the employees. I got 100,000 employees or something. I don't know what they're all doing or thinking, or how I don't know how the dock worker, is loading the boxes on. I'd rather he figure out the best way to load the boxes on. And so decentralization of decision making is really important.